What is the worst thing you have found in your parents' closet? Me, my sister and a friend of ours went hunting around our parents' room. Found our mom's pink dildo. We didn't know what it was, so we took it to her to ask her. She told us it was part of a strawberry shortcake castle. But since we found it, she would not be getting the rest of the pieces. As punishment for snooping around. We believed her. My dad was laughing his ass off the entire time. Your mom deserves a ducking Oscar for that performance. That is a legendary response. Not my parents' closet, but once I found handcuffs to their bed railing, and like a dumb child I handcuffed myself to it. Even more ducked up. My parents had to call 911 because they couldn't find the key, and then my parents had to go to court to prove that they were 6. Cuffs LOL. As little children, maybe 4 or 5 years old, my sisters and I found a box with a bunch of lotions, chocolates, and other weird items. I now know it was my parents' naughty box. Amongst all of the items, there were a pair of purple rubber lips. My sisters and I proceeded to practice kissing with it, not knowing what it was. I remember, we pretended like we were kissing the Backstreet Boys. We put the lips back and forgot about it. Years later, when we were all teens, we were watching some documentary series and this episode was on sex toys. Those same exact purple lips came up on the screen that I had kissed all those years ago as a child. Apparently, those purple rubber lips are used to simulate fellatio, like a mouth fleshlight. As soon as my sisters and I saw them come on the screen, we all simultaneously remembered what we did as children. I wanted to rip my mouth off of my body. Yes, I had unknowingly practiced kissing with my father's fleshlight. Cause Backstreet's back alright. I found a huge rubber dildo, and my mom saw me finding it. I was probably about 8 or 9. We were going through some old luggage and she must have forgotten it was there. I asked what it was, and she just said it was my dad's, and took it. For some time after that I thought my dad's penis was detachable. Okay, this comment isn't that bad, but that last bit made me spit out my water laughing my butt off. Unbeknownst to me, my dad taped over my SNL Best of Chris Farley VHS. My best bud found it in their closet, and we were stoked to watch it. It was my dad banging my stepmom. By the time I realized what I was watching and leaping for the eject button, my dad nutted and said it's so good but never lasts. This line has haunted me for 20 years. Best revenge is to use this line on him in other contexts. How was dinner? It's so good. But never say more about it. Just haunt him back. This made me laugh so hard. Thank you. Hundreds, maybe even over 1,000 lottery tickets. We were dirt poor. Dad earned more than I do as an adult and I'm pushing into middle class, if not in it already, and we were still living poor as heck. Family found out where all the money would go. People addicted to lottery tickets always confuse me. They'll spend $1,000 just to win 50, then be like, see, I won one. And then they never seem to realize how much money it took to get them to a single win. As someone who delivers to and basically works at multiple gas stations, I see it all the time. Edit the one time I bought a ticket for $5 I didn't win anything and I about wanted to burn the gas station down. Anytime I mentioned this to my mother, who spent at least $100 per week on scratches, she would get all huffy and say that I must have had a gambling problem in a past life to be so upset by nothing. No, mother. It's watching your gambling problem keep us in poverty while you insist that it's the best thing you can do. She got so pissed when I refused to buy them for her anymore. Thong underwear for men that were shaped like toucans and elephants. I'll let you imagine what part of the body went into the nose and trunk of those animals. My dumbass thought they were masks and I put them in my face. When I was in 8th grade we found out my dad smoked weed, me and the boys, and when he went on vacation sometime during 9th grade, we raided his shit and got like immaculately blazed. And so being super stoned and in my semi-estranged father's house I started going through stuff while my friends watched TV. Found my dad's entire child porn stash. Had no ability to handle that information at the time, and so I just closed the walk-in closet, hung out for a bit, and then kicked everyone out, cleaned up, and went back to my mom's. My stepmom came home before my dad and found it because I'd left everything out and disheveled and just sort of like noped out. In my hazed state, my dad's been in jail for the last 15 years. A few packages I ordered on Amazon that she claimed never arrived. What did you order? Main things I remember was a small husky plush that was meant as a birthday gift, a Ethernet cable and a new backpack for me. There were few other things she stole I can't remember. But yeah, I've cut my egg donor out of my life after finding she left 2k in bills in my name, and due to the age of them I couldn't do shit, lol. Live birth certificate and it was not my dad's name under father's name. A rotten ham that was purchased for Thanksgiving dinner but got misplaced with the Christmas presents and hidden in the back of the closet. I found it a week before Christmas while trying to find the smell. Edit. So for those asking who care, I had to call my mom and did discover the 6-year-old me didn't remember it correctly after 30 years. It was a roast, not a ham. My mom thought she had somehow forgotten it at the store, so went and bought a replacement. As for the smell, the packaging wasn't completely sealed, so the juices from the meat started leaking initially into the shopping bag, but then onto the flooring in the closet. Edit 2. I'm truly grateful my parents were not degenerates. They probably were, they just didn't hide it in the closet. So what did you eat in place of the ham? A cooked Tonka truck. Make a Tonka truck taste so delicious. The wheels would melt in your mouth. When I was in junior high, my buddy Scene found the book, a 1970s sex guide with pics of a hippie dude and chick doing it in every position. Groovy Kama Sutra. Cold Bean The Joy of Sex 2. Far more hippie looking. The Joy of Sex. The Bob Ross edition was discontinued. Too many happy little accidents. My dog's ashes about 4 years after they told me he ran away. What the duck? Oof. That sucks. Edit. Okay. I misread that as dad's ashes. Still not cool. Still an oof. But not quite as bad. Can't stop laughing at the thought of someone telling their kid that their dad ran away. Oh my god. Daddy went to live on a farm. He gets to run around outside and play with the other dads. When I was little I was in my parents' room and I wasn't supposed to be, but when they came in there I hid in their closet. I found a pair of pink fuzzy handcuffs and thought they would be great to play a game with my brothers, like a cops and robbers game. Needless to say, my brother ended up stuck in the handcuffs and we had to get my mom to help get them off, and they disappeared after that. Didn't realize until I was much older what those were used for. LOL. I dated a woman for a while and we were into BDSM. We had straps running under our bed that kept your wrists and ankles locked in. When we didn't use them, they got tucked under the mattress. Well, we were moving to a new spot and her dad was helping us move. We lifted the mattress and there they were, staring him in the face. He asked what they were, and I said, we use them to move the mattress in, and I'd forgot about them. He didn't believe me. After my dad moved out, I was going through my mom's closet for some reason, and I found porn DVDs and Viagra in the back corner hidden under my old karate belts. I found my dad's Viagra once when I was visiting him. I swiped one, and that's how I found out how expensive they are when he called me up cursing a blue streak about how he knew I'd stolen one. I bought him multiple steak dinners as repayment. Once my boner finally went away, of course. When I was a farmer rep, a doc gave me a couple samples another rep left behind. Yes, they used to sample that stuff in the very beginning. I soon learned that if you have a healthy libido it won't do much for you. All you get to enjoy is side effects. My side effect was a beet red face for about 6 hours. Viagra originally was there for hypertension. It's just that they noticed the side effect that stayed for a few hours. I don't think it does anything to libido. A 25-year diary my mum kept in the weeks leading up to my father's death from leukemia. I found something similar. My mom was writing a diary to give to me in the months leading up to her death. She knew she only had a little bit of time, so she was working on it for my dad to give to me after the cancer killed her. I found it 2 weeks before she died. I found a cucumber sitting on my dad's nightstand one morning. Me as a little kid, why is there a cucumber in here? Mom, your dad thought he might like a healthy midnight snack. Me as an adult, I've eaten a whole cucumber before. Not to brag or anything. Now that's commitment to selling the lights in your room for a snack. They didn't say they chewed it. Huge vibrator. How huge we talking? It's got a shoulder strap and a kickstand. Edit wow. This blew up more than I thought for a 20-year-old Robert Schimmel quote. And a pull cord starter. Went looking for Christmas presents. Found my grandpa's suicide letter. When my buddy was 16 he got his dad's old truck. His dad died in Mexico when we were 12 on a business trip. We were digging through the truck to find places to hide. I found a to-do list and at the top it said divorce family. I just ripped it up and threw it away. No point in bringing it up. That's where their porn stash was. Me and my siblings would watch them and laugh. Had no concept of what was happening. Just naked people were funny. One tape started. And it wasn't professional. Camera was set up at the foot of the bed. Dude moved his leg and it's at that moment we all realized it was my dad and mom. Never went back in that closet. Edit. To add more context to this, now that this memory has been dislodged from 30 years ago. This was 1990. I was 11. Sister was 13 and brother was 9. The movies we had watched were the classic 80s porn. More like a bad movie with sex in it. So they were funny to us. We grew up with sex in our faces. I remember watching Porky's with my parents. I remember when sex scenes came on movies they would just say cover your eyes. Which they only said to absolve themselves of any guilt from watching these movies with them. We would just lift our crocheted blankets over our heads and watch through the holes in the blanket. My friends were losing their virginity at 12 6th grade because we grew up in a poor area and there wasn't anything to do but have sex. I have seen both my parents and my sister in a homemade porn. At this point, it's just a funny story, me and my siblings. Horrifying, yes, but no long-term damage. The best part of this story was later that night. The video started with my dad rubbing my mom's thigh. Then he moved his leg. We saw everything waist down first on both of them. Then my dad's bald head. And we knew then. That night we had fried chicken. And when we came out to eat, my brother said unknowingly, and just by happenstance, ugh. Fried chicken. The last thing I want is thighs or breasts. Can I have mac and cheese? My sister and I shared a look. Then looked down and just shoveled it in. Then ran to our rooms. I was at my grandfather's house and he was giving my vinyls from his closet. And as he was pulling it down his flashlight fell to the floor and all he said was UHH don't look over there. And tried to move his leg in front of it. Then kept pulling our vinyls and pretended like it never happened. He grows weed in his backyard that's illegal where I live, so he's my cool grandparent. Grows weed and ucks flashlights. Roughly where I see myself after retiring. Christmas gifts from Santa. I didn't even realize it. I just thought they were gifts from my parents. And then my mom was like, oh, you saw them. There's no Santa. Like, way to go mom. I managed to go until 15 pretending not to know Santa was fake despite learning odd from a young age. I was literally just trying to get extra presents. Both me and my sibling. Once we told her, when she sat us down, to tell us Santa was fake. We told her we knew about it for so long and just didn't tell her to get more presents. She thought it was funny and kept giving us Santa presents anyways, lol. Edit. Why are all your families so wholesome? We aren't supposed to have wholesomeness of this quantity on Reddit. I was around 4 when I learned that Santa wasn't real. My dad, a bodybuilder at the time, walked in dressed as Santa, wearing his work boots and Terminator sunglasses. That was the most badass Santa I've ever seen. Leather whip and chains. Did you accidentally go to the 50 Shades of Grey version of Narnia? Say the Safiewald Turkish delight. A letter from my mother's boss thanking her for a wonderful weekend. My sister found it under a dresser drawer built into the closet. A holiday themed porn movie on VHS. My friend and I decided it would be a good idea to watch it. Within moments of playing the tape, it was obvious to me that my parents had recorded over the tape their own movie. I shut it off as quickly as I could and immediately freaked out at what I saw. My friend, however, begged to watch the tape. I turned away and made her mute the sound. She gave me the play-by afterwards, though, and that's how I found out my parents were swingers. When I moved out I grabbed a suitcase from their closet. Inside was 3 of the same Lovers stuffed animal I had grown up with. I also had another one in my bedroom. My parents had bought 4 of the same Lovers and just cycled through them my entire life. When I walked downstairs and my dad saw them all in my hands he said you were never supposed to know. My mom hired a professional photographer to take photos of my brother's birth. Not newborn photos, but photos of him coming out of her. I found those photos. That would scar me for life. Not as bad as most of these. I found a sewing needle in the carpet. After it went 2 centimeters into my foot.